again.
Glad to always have you on our show. I know you've been listening on your way.
Yes.
I'd like to have your take on the kind of promises, the kind of things they say, not necessarily captured in their manifestos, but I think they say off the cuffs when they mount, platforms, political platforms, and they're addressing especially their theming supporters. And you've heard the 1 cedi credits to be given for people to buy phones. I don't know how feasible that is. You've heard the duties, where he says, well, we're going to make duties equal to that of Togo, even less. You've heard, Dramani Mahama talk about the Women's World Bank and stuff like that. Generally, as a political historian, is it normal for people to tell us the things that they tell us? To some extent, knowing very well that things that they're telling us are not feasible.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was listening to the audios and then your submissions, and I was smiling. We are still a young democracy, and especially if we don't need to go far, we just take the Fourth Republic. I think the very first time wild promises won elections was in 2016. Wild promises, I call it wild promises, was in 2016 because if you check the transition from Rawlings to Kufuor, yes, Ghanaians were just quite tired and fed up with Rawlings, and then needed a change, and felt that it was time to see and know something different. And the NDC came back not with wild promises, I don't know, but after 8 years, Ghanaians wanted a change, and particularly, there were some political dynamics that played out when Kufuor was leaving that enabled NDC to kind of win power in a very slim, with a very slim margin. Yeah. But in 2016, there were, I think that was the first time in this Fourth Republic where wild promises actually won the elections. And then you see, it was a very good balance. While Nana was making the wild promises, he appeared to have gotten a Kratchi who had the economic wherewithal to ensure that those wild promises were realized. So it was a very good blend. And after that, if you check 2020, Mahama, who appears to me to have been quite realistic and moderate in his promises, became desperate in 2020 and started I think towards the last minute he said he will make tertiary education free. If I got that correct, something to compete the free senior high school. So if from 2016, it appears as if the two parties know that there is a little bit value in telling the people what they want to hear. You understand? It is not how realistic the thing, but telling the people what they want to hear. And I told you I was smiling because it looks like sometimes when you are passing by a boy and a girl, what the boys usually will be telling the girl and say, "Oh, you lie," I always say the girls know they are lies, and when you are passing by, they sound very stupid. Yet those things work. But so you see, they are not communicating to everybody at the same time. So, but you see, you get the feed to spread across the whole population. But you see, they look at who they are communicating with, and they say what they need to say in order to touch people's hearts.
But Doc, if you say these things knowing very well that you cannot implement them, it means you're lying. Like we played the voice of former President John Dramani Mahama, says that around this time, Nokre Kakra and Tro Kakra. Is that not taking the people for a ride? And is that allowed even in politics when you're campaigning?
You see, context matters. You see, in this conversation, let's put the scenarios in context, in their perspective, so that, for instance, Mahama, in his submission, did not literally mean that he was doing Ntro Kakra and Nokre Kakra. he literally wanted to warn the people to be wary of politicians when it gets to that time, because one of the things politics allow is to say the things that will touch the hearts of people, and they might not be true. So be cautious what people are telling you. I am sure, if I empathize, I'm sure it was because of the 2016 thing that snatched power away from him. He was saying, be cautious when you are listening to people. So not literally trying to maybe say that I am saying a little bit of lies and a little bit of truth while in my campaigning thing. No. And if you check maybe that particular statement by me, if I were him, I would have said, instead of using figures.
It ends there.
Instead of using figures. So it is context. So there is no conscious effort to go and lie, but there is a conscious effort to say what the people want to hear.
Is that allowed?
Oh, but elections is a game. You see, politics in itself, the human factor is there. But you see, you play the game before you govern. When you lose the game, you can't govern. No. So in strategy, you see, it's like marketing. Yeah. You've heard of competitors buy people's things, throw away. Competitors use very foul tactics.
I watched an advert. Forgive me. I watched an advert of somebody in the United States who wanted to drink Pepsi, so took another brand of Coke. Another brand, and then when you slot in the coin, you pick the drink, slot in another, pick the drink, and then use it as the stairs, because the Pepsi slot was up.
So it was a kid, actually.
It was a kid. It wasn't a kid. Yes, it was a short guy, not necessarily a kid. So stood on the can, 2 cans, slotted in the coin, took the Pepsi, and left the other 2 cans with the drink there. So disrespecting those brands. But what I want to ask is this: if you say that it's a game and they're working to an end, aren't they aware, or can't we hold them accountable for these things when they say them on these platforms? Yeah, Prof. Okay, Doc, go ahead.
Yeah. That's another
holding them accountable.
Yeah, that's another perspective. That is, okay, tell us what you want to tell us, but the system must have a way of holding people accountable. And there are institutions within the state that has to do this. And I've been listening to your network sometime. Do this. This is what the person said, how far the person have gone. So holding accountable is there. But you see, in this period, you see, you need to play the game to win. When it gets to that point, and you have to strategize. In the strategy, there are fair, there are foul means, but it is just to win. It doesn't, you see, he's communicating to all of us. But you see, how you will take it will be different from how another person will take it. Even in 2016, those things that Nana Addo, for instance, was promising, they can't touch me. They can't touch my heart to vote for Nana Addo. But it doesn't matter whether it touches my heart or not. I have just a vote. It touched the hearts of so many people, and they did the needful. So you see, when you have to strategize in a manner that you can touch the majority of people's heart, win power, and then you now seek to do what you ought to do.
But you realize that you get the power,